Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Editor's Notes with me, Cy Williams. This episode is brought to you by MIIM Hort. Now, microbial mass, MIIM Horticulture, brings your cannabis yield up, way up. Now, for more information on this amazing product, visit them online at www.miimhort.com. Now, there is some exciting news in Canada because the feds announced that as of April 19th, 2022, Health Canada will begin granting authorization to sell dried and fresh cannabis products to all micro and standard processing license holders during the initial licensing process, without the need to submit any sort of sales amendment application. Now, this is crazy big news. The change will reduce some of the regulatory burdens for new and existing license holders. Recently, Health Canada sent out an email to licensed processors across Canada introducing these changes. These changes, which would automatically give sales licenses to all micro and standard processing license holders and applicants. Now, license holders that aren't currently authorized to sell dried flower will receive reissued licenses with the amendments within the next 90 days. Once licenses are reissued with the amendment, or 60 days after submitting a notification of new cannabis product, NNCP for any product, licensees can begin selling. License holders that already have submitted a sales amendment application will be contacted on a case-to-case basis by the feds to clarify the next steps. Those who just submitted their application for a processing license, well, if that's for a micro or a standard, they will be authorized to sell to provincial retail distributors during the initial licensing process. The feds say that the decision is based on the lower risk associated with producing dried and fresh cannabis products. The change will reduce the regulatory burden on license holders and give new license holders the ability to bring more products to market more quickly. Health Canada will continue to provide oversight using a risk-based approach, read the notice. Now, in other news in Canada, we all know that the cannabis market is constantly changing. But one company in particular that has been continuously at the forefront of the changing market is Indiva. This is Canada's leading producer of cannabis edibles and a bunch of other cannabis products. Now, did you know that there is a growing push to increase the legal limits of edible cannabis products to better compete with the offerings of the unregulated market? Well, there is. As part of the Cannabis Council of Canada, Neil Marotta, president and CEO of Indiva, has been advocating and seeking change to the regulations that limit cannabis licensors and retailers. Indiva is ranked high in the Canadian market in Canada, in the cannabis market in Canada, and has taken an even bigger share of the cannabis gummy market with the launch of its newest product, Wanaquick Midnight Berry Indica. Indiva is making headlines around the world, and I'm thrilled to get to speak with Neil Marotta, President and CEO of Indiva, tomorrow on our High Canada Magazine Presents podcast. And we're going to be speaking about how the Indiva brand has continued to transform in an ever-changing market, and how its newest product pushes the boundaries of innovation. As the number one producer and distributor of cannabis-infused edibles in Canada, Indiva aims to shape the cannabis industry, continue to shape the cannabis industry by anticipating consumer needs with a forward-thinking approach, especially when it comes to helping cannabis licensors and retailers outpace unregulated and illicit market options. Indiva took an innovative bite out of the cannabis edible market, and their new Jules cannabis tarts are amazing. But like all edibles on the Canadian cannabis market, Jules is restricted by a 10 milligram THC cap per container, limiting the quantity to 10 tablets per container. An increase of the limits for edibles to 100 milligrams would allow legal licensed retailers to not only meet consumer needs, but it has the potential to reduce the influence of the unregulated market substantially. And this was a core goal of legalization in Canada. I can't wait to speak at more length about this with Neil himself tomorrow, so absolutely stay tuned. Now, we always have amazing interviews scheduled at High Canada Magazine, and later today, we are interviewing Rob Baldwin. If you don't know who he is the VP of Cultivation and Greenhouse Operations at Canada's leading cannabis producer, Pure Sunfarms. We're going to be talking about the key to successfully growing cannabis outdoors and some common mistakes that home growers should try to avoid. Now, since the legalization of cannabis, Canadians are now allowed to grow up to 4 plants per residence, unless you're in Quebec or Manitoba, of course. More and more Canadians have expressed interest in growing cannabis outdoors in their garden or on their balcony, but don't know where to turn to get the best tips for growing this potent and amazing plant. Cannabis is unlike any other type of garden or house plant, so it can be challenging for first-time growers. For more information on a detailed step-by-step guide, Pure Sunfarms Guide to Growing Outdoors, you should download this. You should check it out. It is a really amazing guide. You know, planting outside usually takes place in Canada around the May 2-4 weekend. So cannabis plants are grown in pure sunlight and able to receive the fullest possible spectrum of the sun's rays. It's best to use a cannabis-specific type of soil. Living soil is amazing, which can be bought online or in person from your local store, local gardening store. Constant air circulation is always important, so make sure you space your plants far enough apart so that they don't limit each other's airflow. Other tips, if possible, check in daily on your fast-growing flowers to make sure that the flowering stage is moving along smoothly. Also, to be able to pull out any males. If you don't choose feminized seeds, well, and it's important to choose feminized seeds because they are feminized and disease resistant. And you can find seeds at your provincial cannabis retail or local store. Now, I tell you, this Pure Sunfarms is going to be interesting and amazing. And that's it for me today. Stay tuned, stay high, and I'll be talking to you soon.